Hello and welcome back to the AAT'S podcast. This is episode number 21 with myself, Adi of Adibiotics.
And me, Aidan Riley.
Good afternoon, Aidan.
Good afternoon, Adi. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
I'm not bad, thank you. Not bad at all.
Good. So as we mentioned in last week's podcast, we wanted to do a tribute to the late, great Ray Liotta, who unfortunately passed away. I did do a tribute video for him like a couple of weeks beforehand. That was actually a few days after his death. So this is to you, Mr. Ray Liotta. Again, thank you so much for all the great movies that you left behind, the great legacy you left behind. Every actor who's worked with him said he was just like the nicest person to talk to.
Yeah.
And they said even though he played psychopathic characters sometimes, but he still was such a nice person. And it's kind of a funny concept, the fact that most people who play psychopaths in movies are actually really nice people in real life. Yeah, it is true.
Pesci, was he nice?
Pesci, there's a lot of people say he's known for being such a foul mouth, but I've got a funny story to tell about this as well, so please stay tuned in. Okay. So the movie we're talking about today is the classic gangster flick directed by Martin Scorsese. Had a great all-star cast such as Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Paul Sorvino, Lorraine Bracco, who went on to play Dr. Melfi in the TV series The Sopranos. And I believe it or not, Ray Liotta starred in the prequel to The Sopranos called The Many Saints of Newark. Yeah, okay. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it was Ray Liotta in that show. So obviously, you guessed it, the movie we're talking about is Goodfellas. As far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster, not a gangster. See, he's a funny guy. Funny how funny. Those are some of the great quotes. Before we get started, I've got to give a couple of shout outs to a couple of people. So first one I'd like to give a shout out to is, they started going to they go to my gym. First one is Curtis.
Okay.
Welcome, brother.
Welcome, Curtis.
This is Aidan.
Hi.
Dabs, I'd like to give him a shout out. Dabs is an awesome guy. Really, really great guy to talk with and everything. A funny story was that we obviously, there's an unwritten rule out there. Whenever you're in the gym and you're lifting weights, and after you've lifted weights and someone's in the mirror doing a physique update, it's kind of rude if you walk in front of that person, because no, I'm going to wait for them to finish and then I'll go down and go, oh, come on. I said, no, it's an unwritten rule, bro. You have to basically let the guy finish doing what he's doing, then go afterwards. We just do that. And then what happened? And then he asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a podcaster." He goes, "Oh, really? What do you talk about?" I said, "We talk about movies." He goes, "What's your channel?" I gave him the channel name, and he was in. Ribas, I'd like to welcome him as well. Really, really nice guy. Great barber.
Great barber.
Great barber.
Great barber.
Yeah, you are. Ali, I'd like to mention him as well.
Hello, Ali.
And there's another Ali as well, really, really nice
Ali,
guy.
number 1 or number 2?
Done.
Number 2.
Also, I'd like to mention Zia.
Hey,
Zia. Our friend Zia. Will, this is actually one of Will's favourite movies as well.
Will. Wherever there's a will, there's a way.
There's always a will. There's always a will in the way. There's also the Riley reactions as well, which you see quite often. And
the way of the will.
Way of the will, yes. And also, I'd like to mention out Josh. Goes to my gym.
Okay, hi Josh.
There's another Josh as well, so 2 Joshes. 2 Joshes make a right, put it that way. And
Double J.
Double J, yes.
I used to be a wrestler.
Who it was?
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett. In the 90s.
I can't remember. You're the wrestling enthusiast.
Yeah, I loved wrestling back in the day.
I loved wrestling back in the 80s. That was my favourite time.
90s, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H. Anyway,
John Cena.
He's rubbish, man.
I like John Cena. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, but he was rubbish.
So the movie we're talking about is obviously Goodfellas. It's based on a true story, and it was a story about the gangster Henry Hill. And there's a line he says in the movie right at the beginning, which was apparently it's eternally remembered. And the line is, as far back as I can remember.
Which was the tag of the film?
Yeah, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yep.
And it was a story about him, how he covered his relationship with his wife, Karen Hill, and his mob partners, Jimmy Conway and Tommy DeVito. I believe their names were kind of changed for that movie as well. Because this movie starts off with Henry, he's a young kid, and he's living in New York City.
Brooklyn,
yeah. But next door to where he lives, he basically there's a car stand, there's a pizza store, but they're owned by mobsters. But the mobsters love him to bits. They treat him like he's a family member. They treat him like, they treat him like he's one of theirs. They treat him like a man. They give him keys to a car and say, that line goes, I could barely look over the steering wheel. This is me at this age, parking cars and everything. And he had everything going for him.
Yeah, he did.
Even the kids in the school in the area respected him and started respecting his mom. It's like that scene where he goes. There's that scene where he goes. All of a sudden, neighborhood kids started carrying my mother's groceries home for her. Why? It was out of respect. Out of respect, because he was a man compared to most of the kids out there. Yeah. Why? Because all those mobsters treated him like a man.
Yeah. I mean, you saw that all the time in the beginning of the film. Where he was running around running errands for them. Yeah. And then when he was parking that car, you had all the kids looking from the fence, just staring at him, going, wow, this guy is just he's our age, but he's not at the same time. He's like true. He's 10 years older or a bit older than that. It's like, wow, this guy's just, and the car was nice as well. Yeah, driving a nice car like that. I was thinking, this guy's just, what is this guy? What's he do? No one knew what
nobody knew what he was doing, but that's what was great about that role. I mean, Henry just had the whole world given to him in a way. Like, he got introduced to the world at a very young age. He had all these mobsters who treated him like he was an adult. They didn't treat him like he was a kid. They looked at him like he's one of us. Yes. Yep. It's like when he's working in that bar at that young age, and he goes, what do you want to... And Robert De Niro's character comes in, Jimmy Conway. That was the first time I was introduced to Jimmy Conway. And a legend of a character.
He was around only 29 years old at the time, and he was making money almost more money than anybody.
Yeah, he was, and he goes, he'd give $100 to the doorman for opening the door. He'd give $100 to the bartender keeping the ice cold. He'd give $100 out to everybody in there. And Jimmy
was all he was doing is handing
it. How you doing? How you doing, man? How you doing? Now, if you're De Niro, you have to do that thing with the face. I hope everybody can see this when he's like this.
How you doing?
Hey, Aiden, you may know who I am, but I don't know who you are. That's my De Niro impression. All right.
Kind of did, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Thank you. Yeah. So that was a great movie. So it was talking about his rise in the ranks from becoming just a little errand boy to becoming a full-fledged gangster, and then his fall. He fell into the drug world and everything, and then he fell from there quite hard.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And, bad things unfortunately happened to him. He had to go to prison. He rehabilitated. One character I really liked in that before going into it was Paulie Cicero, played by the great Paul Savino. Yes. Great actor.
He was what I liked about that guy is he was just, you could tell that he had a lot of, you don't mess with the guy, but he had time for people. He was always a nice person, but he always said to him, don't treat me like I'm an idiot. Yeah. Basically saying, look, I may be a nice guy, but
you don't walk all over me because I will run over you.
Exactly. Don't treat me like a fool. I may be a nice guy, but trust me, you don't want to get on the wrong side of me.
Definitely. I agree.
And he was the senior guy. He was the senior guy. You don't mess with guys like that.
It was like that scene where when Henry's dad finds out he's not been in school for months. Forget weeks, but months. You've not been to school.
Dad really does a number on him, doesn't he?
He beat him up quite badly. He goes, you want to end up a bomb and this and that, and he's giving him the belt.
I knew what was going to happen when his dad walked into there, and when he does narrate it, because when my dad found out, he gave me some serious pain, but I already knew what's going to happen anyway. And to be honest, I didn't really care.
I took a beating. The way I looked at it, everybody took a beating.
And that's what life is.
Yeah, everyone's going to take a beating. Yeah, it does.
And it's just about getting back up. That's what he says in it. The guy was already tough at that age, and I knew that when his dad annihilated him with that belt.
And then when he goes over when he tells Paulie's brother and he's like the one who never uses the phone very much. He goes knocks on people's doors to give them the message and all that stuff. And what was really funny was the fact that when
that's when he's running around with the umbrella.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other scene when he goes, right, who's the postman? That's the guy. He brings him and goes, you know this kid? You know where he lives? From now on, any letter that comes from that school comes directly here. Or if not, in the oven, your head goes head first. Which is kind of, it's like...
Is that okay? Okay, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It was insane.
Man, man's just doing his job, and he just...
It's true. He was just doing his job at the end of the day. But this was, without a doubt, one of the greatest gangster flicks ever made. I loved this movie. And what was another great thing about... we'll go into character details in a bit as well. I've got some great behind-the-scenes stories as well. Even we're going to talk about the 25th anniversary of this movie. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So before we go into character details, I'd like to pay a tribute to Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta obviously was one of the best actors ever lived. And he was specialising in playing psychopathic characters who hide behind a cultivated charm. Because he had that charming look on his face. But you could tell this guy's up to something. That's what played characters so well by him.
Well, his wife always said it in the film. It's like, I may have hated him, but for some reason I still loved him. Yeah. So she just looked. She could not look at him and feel that emotion, even though she
wanted to kill him.
She couldn't stand him because she had the gun points at his face, and when he woke up, it was like, "What are you doing?" And she couldn't shoot him because she was like, "I just can't do it."
Yeah, it's true. She couldn't do it. I mean, like the great thing about Ray Liotta was when he did a lot of great movies even when he played nice guy roles, such as the movie Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. He's a ghost in that movie.
Yes,
we need to do. I'd like to review that movie for him as tribute to him. Yeah. I think maximum we should do is at least 3 great movies of Liotta's as tribute to him.
Okay.
This is part 1.
Yeah.
I think Field of Dreams should be another one that we should talk about. And I'm also thinking there's a movie he actually did with Kurt Russell back in the 90s called Unlawful Entry. It was about Kurt Russell and his wife are they're a married couple. They've had a burglary happen, but then they call the police. He's the officer who comes on scene, but he becomes quite a good friend. But he's up to something else in return, and no one's going to believe them over an upstanding police officer.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Also, the movie he did, between that and also Copland, the movie he did with Stallone, and he reunites with De Niro in the movie.
We'll see which one.
Okay, let's do a coin. I don't have a coin on me somewhere.
Let's decide.
Tell you what, everybody, write it in the description. What would you like us to review as the third part of the Liotta trilogy? Either Copland or Unlawful Entry. Write that down in the description, or you can send us a private DM. We've got no problem with that, and we will do that for you. Done deal.
Okay.
Done deal. Yeah. So also,
it's up to you.
It's up to you. Yes, it's up to you. And yeah, sadly, like I said, Liotta left behind a great legacy. I remember when he had passed away. I actually read it on Instagram that Ray Liotta had unfortunately passed away. And what was a great thing. So I'll tell a little bit about the background story. He was born in 1954. He was actually abandoned at an orphanage, and he was adopted 6 months later by a clerk and an auto parts store owner called Alfred Liotta, and they took him in. His adoptive parents were of Italian and Scottish descent, and they adopted him. His sister was also adopted as well. And then the older he got, he hired a private investigator to locate his real mother. Yeah.
Wow.
He did, yeah. And he was quite a very educated man. He actually
he did seem it. He did actually, went about himself.
Yeah, he did. He'd be like, I'm not full of myself. I know he knows he's a great actor, but he chose not to go around announcing it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he may not have been academically educated, but you get the natural smarts, and then you get the ones that aren't so natural but have to gain it through education, through the academic. But I mean, obviously, they're both just as outstanding as each other.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
He just seemed to be this kind of guy. I mean, I know it's only a film, I know it's, but sometimes, or all of the time, somebody's actual self can appear on the actual screen when they're acting.
Yeah.
And he just, the way his acting skills, the way he just went from nice and then you just flipped.
Yeah.
But Henry in that, Henry wasn't supposed to have been a gangster.
No.
I think the reason why he became a gangster is because he got sucked into it by looking. It was like a self-pressured mode where he would look at it and go, and he will look at the area that he's in and go, well, there's nothing else for me here. This is it for me.
Yeah.
What else am I going to be other than a gangster? Because this is all there is in here.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at his persona, if you look at his personality, the character's personality, he's not a gangster. That was not a gangster. Because when he's seen all that violence take place, who gave the shocked look all the time?
Him, yeah. So it's that scene where
it was like,
we'll talk about that scene.
Yeah,
talk about that scene in a bit. So back to like I say, a little bit more about Leota's background. He actually attended the University of Miami, where he studied acting and graduated with a bachelor degree in acting.
Yeah, so wow, that's incredible. Yeah,
it did. And then after college, he moved to New York and he got a job as a bartender. He landed an agent within 6 months. Yeah.
Well, that's no time at all, is it?
No,
it just shows you how gifted he was.
So some people take like years to get an agent.
But it's his aura, it's his personality, it's his face.
What people loved about him.
But it's all about the face when you're acting.
Yeah,
and the personality. If you got those two, you're on the way.
Yeah, definitely. And then in 1989 he portrayed the ghost of a baseball player, Shoeless Joe Jackson, in The Fantasy Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner.
Really good.
And that movie had so many great actors in it. Not only did it have Kevin Costner, I think he's a terrific actor.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
You had Ray Liotta, and guess who else is in it, apparently? James Earl Jones.
Mustafa.
Yes. King Joffrey Jaffa.
Super. Oh, no, I can't.
Yeah, and also the late, great Burt Lancaster, who was a huge star. This was actually his final movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was released in 1989. Lancaster died a few years later because he retired, and then he just decided, okay, that's it, and then unfortunately he passed away. He was a great actor, Burt Lancaster.
He lived a good life, and that's
he actually teamed up a few times with the other late great actor, Kirk Douglas, who everybody remembered as Michael Douglas's father. And Kirk Douglas, you wouldn't believe how long he lived, till about 103, 104.
Yeah. Wow, that's holy.
Yeah, and then also you had another movie. So a couple of great movies he did. Obviously, Goodfellas was one of them, and he also, like I mentioned, where he played the psychopathic cop in All in All for Lantry with Kurt Russell, and also he did the movie Copland, where it was he again reunited with De Niro. There's Stallone. There's also Robert Patrick, who was famous for playing the T-1000 in Terminator 2.
Liquid Man. Yes.
Yeah. Also, Harvey Keitel's in the movie as well. It was like a proper all-star cast.
That would have cost a lot more.
To be honest with you, it was actually one of the best movies I actually saw of Stallone's, because he's not the tough guy in it; he's an actor.
Well, I think when Stallone really does act in the film,
he can do a great job.
Rocky was a complete performance from him.
It wasn't about a tough guy boxer.
No,
the boxer was separately.
Exactly.
It was.
He was starving. He had to make money. And he had nothing to lose. That's what Apollo says in the film. You know, this guy's got nothing to lose. I'm not going to underestimate him. No, that's his manager that says that to him, doesn't it? It's in his rematch.
Tony.
Yeah.
No, was it Tony?
Yeah.
No.
This guy's got nothing to lose. Do not underestimate him.
Yeah. And also, this is what you're going to like. Did you know Ray Liotta voiced one of your favourite characters in a great video game? Go on, you got to guess what it is.
Oh. You what?
Yeah. Okay, I'll mention it. We're going to be here forever.
Go on. Yeah, I've got.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wait. This is the Riley reaction moment happening. So, he actually voiced Tommy Vercetti in the 2002 video game.
Oh, Vice City.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. When I heard the voice for the very first time, I was like, that sounds like someone so familiar. And guess what? It was Ray Liotta. And then you had Philip Michael Thomas in that from what we reviewed as Miami Vice.
Well, I love that. I tell you what, I love that guy even more now. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mr. Leo.
Oh,
also, there's another great movie he did called Smoking Aces. I heard it's a fantastic movie. He's in that, and he's one of the leads. He's also did the dark horror thriller called Identity, which was apparently, I've been told by a lot of people.
That film is unbelievable. I watched it with
Don't tell me.
No, I'm not going to tell you, but I watched that with my friends when I was around 15, 16 years old. And I tell you, and I kid you not, wait, no, I think I was a bit older than that because the film was I think I was a bit older. Kid you not, the way it flips, and you're left like this.
Yeah.
What?
Did that happen? Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, no. This is ridiculous. Like obviously, it's like the usual suspects.
I need to seriously sit down and watch that.
That film again. The ending, you're like, no.
Also, did you know Leo actually went in to do TV series as well? He did the TV series with Jennifer Lopez called Shades of Blue.
I do not know about that.
Like I said, I didn't know about that as well, but until later.
And it's Jennifer Lopez. I mean, back in those days, whoa.
No, this was a recent TV series, I would say. Yeah.
What?
So actually, wait, let me see. It was in 2018. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Ray Liotta passed away May 26, 2002, at the age of 67. Apparently, he died in his sleep.
Well, I tell you what, when I think about that, it's just, it makes me happy that he passed away peacefully. I hope he did anyway, because, a man like him to pass away with his family surrounded by him, I assume they were around.
I believe they were. But no, I think he was in the Dominican Republic shooting a movie.
He passed away during the movie.
A lot of actors have passed away during the movie, and
wow.
But like I said, we will definitely mention that. But again, we'd like to mention our Mr. Liotta. Thank you very much for the great legacy you left behind. This episode is dedicated to your family, yourself, and thank you for being one of the greatest actors who had ever lived. Yeah. And again, thank you for leaving such a great legacy behind. Yeah. And
thank you for pursuing that career, because if you didn't, then we wouldn't have been able to enjoy all those films that you've obviously
definitely
been. So thank you.
Thank you, and may you rest in peace. Amen.
Yes. So
moving into the character details now. Henry. We're going to start off with Henry Hill, because the movie obviously revolves around him.
He's the gangster himself.
He's the gangster himself.
Wasn't supposed to be the gangster.
No, he did. But then again, he did say at the beginning of the movie, as far back as I remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Should have been a lawyer.
Yeah, it depends on what he wanted to be in it.
Yeah.
And like I say, he at the beginning, he's this nice, sweet, naive kid who is surrounded and mesmerised by all these fancy cars, these suits, these big guys you see everywhere. And they treat him like an adult. They don't treat him like he's a little kid. They pay him for all his efforts. They help him out whenever he needs it. And all the neighbourhood starts helping out him and his family, which is quite good as well. It's that scene, one of those scenes where they kind of treat him like an adult and they take him soup shopping. And he goes home and says to his mom, "What about my suit?" She goes,
you look like a gangster. And then when she says that to him, he's like that. Yeah, I know I look like him.
I'm going to be one down the line. I'm going to be one down the line.
He kind of already is one in a way, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. And then one thing, he doesn't like the violence bits himself, but there are some times where he does get a little bit violent. It's that scene, one of my favourite scenes was, when he calls Karen when she's his girlfriend at the time, before they get married, and she says that the neighbour across the road.
Oh yeah. That was a.
I've got an interesting story to tell you about that one.
Okay.
Now, in order to Ray Liotta to build up the anger for that one scene where he attacks that guy, and what happened was Ray Liotta's mother passed away of cancer during filming.
Oh.
And he says he used all his anger of losing over her.
Grieving.
Yeah.
Wow.
He says he used all his anger losing her for certain scenes, especially the pistol whipping scene in particular, where he just walks up and he grabs the gun, he's whacking the guy in the head and like that, and then he goes, "I swear on my mother, you ever touch her again, you're dead." And how he did it, it was just wow. Karen goes, it kind of turned her on from saying, from him doing that, because he stood up for her. He stood up for his girl.
Oh, I mean, it just shows you that how much he cares about her, right? I mean, obviously...
He liked her.
Yeah.
He didn't like her in the beginning. He wanted to get away from it.
Yeah.
He goes, they would order dessert, I'd ask for coffee.
I'd ask for the bill.
Yeah. Ask for the bill. Yeah. And that was an absolute fantastic scene. And... but like I said, he fell into that trap. But the thing about that world is, once you get into it, there's no way coming out of it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, but as I said at the start, you grow up in a place like that.
Your trouble's bound to follow.
Yeah, it's just like you go, okay. If one grows up in a place next to the sea, and it's the fishing industry, right?
Yeah, it is.
You're probably 9 times out of 10 you're going to be probably a fisherman.
Yeah, right? He's going to be taken in by it.
Yeah, exactly. So with him, he saw his way out of poverty.
Yeah.
He saw his dad, because he said to it about his dad, my dad was angry. He wasn't just angry about
where we live.
He was angry about the house, because we hardly could fit anybody in it. He was angry at the job, and he was also angry at me. Because, and then he goes, he was angry at me because he suddenly found out that I wasn't really attending school. And then this is when this happens. You go, what is this? And then he also was like, you're not attending school, why aren't you attending school? And then he just slaps it around his face, and then that's it. And that's when he says that famous line, in life,
everybody takes a beating.
Everyone takes a beating. But he saw that as, where else am I going to go?
Yeah.
I don't want to end up like my dad.
Yeah, exactly. And then also the dad was also angry that even the little brother was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's what he says as well.
Angry as well, yeah.
He was bitter, he was angry at every little thing. He hated how his life has turned out, and he's hated the house, he hates everything. And that's the sad reality of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then when he sees his son suddenly not attending school,
because he knows the son's going to end up like him if he doesn't get his act together. Maybe he's beating him to say, sort yourself out, or you're going to end up in this place forever.
Back in those times, when you look at it, a lot of parents were quite physical with their
Oh
kids.
Yeah, they were, definitely.
And a lot of dads did that to their kids out of love, to say to them, look, don't do this again. Because if you do, then you're going to end up like this or me.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want you to do that. And the only way to not let that happen to that kid is to fear him, make him fear it. And the only way to make somebody fear something is to kick the living daylights outside of him. And
back in those days.
Back in those days. We talk more. We
talk more now than we do beforehand. Yeah. Okay. Going into
which I'm thankful for.
Exactly. Really. Yeah. Going into another character, Jimmy Conway, played by the great Robert De Niro. I love this character.
Jimmy Conway is just wow.
I think he was probably my favourite character in the whole movie. Not because it's Robert De Niro. And
yeah.
But the character himself, you could tell in a way, it's he loves what he does. He doesn't care who he has to hit. Doesn't care what he hijacks. He'll pay somebody. Like is that scene where they got the truckload of cigarettes. What do you want? I want a couple of these. All right, fine. Give him a couple of these packs. And what does he do? He puts a bit of money into the case, gives it to the policeman. He goes, they sent cops after Jimmy. He made them partners. He did his first job at the age of 12. He did this. He was in prison at this age. He was already a legend by the age of 20-something.
29, yeah.
It's that scene when he comes for the first time. When you see Jimmy Conway for the very first time in this movie, you know this is a great character that's coming.
Yeah.
Not just the actor who's playing him, because let's face it, Robert De Niro can make any character great.
Well, look at Taxi Driver.
Look at Godfather Part 2.
Mm.
Did you know Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando were the only actors in history to win Oscars for the same role, played by different actors?
Wow.
Yeah, because...
Don't forget about Casino.
Yeah, Casino, another great movie. Showtime with Eddie Murphy. The thing I loved about De Niro, he's not just a one type of actor.
Yeah.
He's everything.
Analyze this with Adam Sandler.
No, that's Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal.
Yeah, Billy Crystal.
I don't think he's ever worked with Adam Sandler, not that I'm aware of. I remember him working with Eddie Murphy. They did make a great team. Yeah, you had the serious one, and you had the goofy comedian at the same time. And Heat or Ronin. You have to watch the movie Ronin. It's all action packed.
Raging Bull.
He won Best Actor for that role. I've got a great story for that one once we talk about.
I need to watch that.
Oh yeah, you have to watch that one. Yeah, Joe Pesci's in that as well. And
well, I'm not surprised.
And guess who it's directed by?
Mr. Martin Scorsese.
Definitely. But that's what makes them great. That's what makes them great. That's what makes De Niro and Scorsese a great team.
It's just one of those things.
It's just one of the. It's like, for example,
if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Gavin O'Connor and Ben Affleck. They've made great movies together. They've done Finding the Way Back and they've done The Accountant.
Great film.
Great movie.
Fantastic film.
And they make a great on-screen. They make a great team as well.
Look at Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg.
Again, another great team. You have well, yes, you have De Niro. We have to do a series on great actors collaborating with great directors. We have to seriously do that because there's just so much out there.
Yes, and I'm sure Leonardo DiCaprio and
Scorsese have done great movies.
They have. Oh, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic.
It's a great movie, but it's just
Margaret Robbie in that.
Oh yeah, she was beautiful.
She still is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, the great thing about Jimmy Conway, he doesn't care. He just likes to get the job done. He's one of those guys who's like, he'll help you out, but if you do double cross him, you're gonna suffer the consequences.
He's not gonna think twice.
It's like that scene when that guy Billy Batts insults Tommy. When he goes to him, 1 minute, what's wrong with this guy? We're 1 minute having a laugh and a joke. And all of a sudden he goes mad at me. He goes, wait a minute, you insulted him a little first. You were a little out of order yourself. He's pointing out that you did start it by insulting this guy. Yes. Why do you think he went off on you? He doesn't go off like that for no apparent reason.
He's not biased.
No, he's not.
He's honest.
He's honest.
You did kind of insult him a little bit. No, what do you mean I insulted him? Look, that's what you said, and you don't say that to people. You don't say that to people. That's why he's angry. You've insulted him. And he's like, and that's when the guy said, Bill Batts goes, man, I don't give it.
He doesn't care.
Because
I didn't insult him. Because you didn't. You did.
And he's like, did I insult him, man? Did I insult him? See, I didn't insult him. And I didn't insult him. The guys that, man, I did. And then you just see him going on one of those, like, because he was a made man, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't care. He was just like,
and he just got out of prison at the time.
Yeah. He didn't care. He didn't care.
Yeah,
he cared later, though, didn't he?
He did. Well, he had no choice but to. The one thing I liked about how Jimmy helps Henry out from a very young age, it's like that scene where he puts him, when Henry's been pinched by the policeman, but the young Tommy DeVito runs over and tells him, look, Henry's been pinched, and then, what's his name? Jimmy's at the courthouse helping him out, and he gives him $100. He goes, what's that for? And he goes, it's your graduation money. He goes, for what? I didn't do anything. He goes, I got caught. He goes, yeah. He goes, I thought you'd be angry. He goes, no, I'm angry. Why would I be angry with you? I'm proud of you. He goes, you learned the two most important things in life. So I'll do how Jimmy does it. He goes, never rely on your friends and always keep your mouth shut. Let's go. And then when he opens the door, all of them are outside. Hey, he's a little guy. That was a great scene where the fact that
that's when he's pulled into it. It's like, this is my family now.
They were like hugging him and kissing him and all that stuff. They were like, he's now a man. They've always treated him like a man. They never treated him like he was a little kid.
No, yeah.
And Jimmy was one of them as well. He took him on all the rides, took him on this, that, and the other. And then even the one thing I like about Jimmy, he's very caring. Even when Henry's doing drugs, he's saying to him, sort yourself out. You're going to drive your wife and your kids away.
None of them.
They don't do that. They don't do that.
They sold them.
But they never used them. And then it was that scene where unfortunately Tommy gets whacked, as they would say, gets whacked. That was a great piece of acting by De Niro when he breaks down in the phone box.
That was, when that happened. Again, we'll get to that part. Yeah. But it was. I just thought, something's not right here.
Yeah.
Because when you find out about him getting made, you go, this isn't something's not right, and then all of a sudden when bang, and then he gets told over the phone, Jimmy, he just breaks down, and Henry doesn't know what to do. He's thinking, this guy's crying. I've never seen him cry before.
Yeah.
He's just bursted out into tears, and you think, what's next?
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
next? What's going on? Because they can't do anything about it. These guys are the top ones.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do anything about it. And yeah, but like I said, nobody but De Niro could pull off that role. And moving on to, I'm going to let you to do this one. Moving on to Tommy DeVito, played by Joe Pesci. I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to sit back now. Go on. Well, you said that's your favourite character. I just described mine.
Yes, Tommy. He was incredible. I mean, you got
insane.
You just don't know where this guy is gonna go. You don't know what he's gonna do. You don't know how he's gonna do it. I mean, if you look, not only is he unpredictable, but he may be one of my favorite characters, but I would not want to be this guy's friend at all, because you say one word out of line and you're dead meat. You're dead meat.
Of course you are.
And what a favourite scene of mine, one of my favourite scenes is when they're in the bar.
Yeah.
Or is it the Copacabana? Because they always go there, don't they?
Yeah.
And you've got so the camera is you know what I love about the film is
the travelling shot.
Yeah, the travelling shot, and it's going, and everybody's at the bar, and it's going one phase, then the next one. You hearing everyone talking, and then it cuts to the woman that Tommy is dating, and she goes and Tommy passes her, and he's like, "You look at anybody, I'll kill you," or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the woman with her goes like that, as if to say, okay. And then she goes, he's always been like that. It just shows you how much he cares. If I look at anyone, he will kill me.
Yeah, you would.
And then the woman goes, great. It's like, great. You got it good there.
That was a good scene there where you're introducing all these other characters, these minor characters. Yeah. But then it's like, one of the funny ones out of all them was that Jimmy 2 times, who says everything twice. I'm gonna get the papers. Yeah. That was a pretty good. That was one of the that was good. But Tommy, it was just pure rage.
It was like he definitely had a complex, didn't he? Because I had that complex when I was younger. I hated my height. I didn't like it. Everybody was growing taller, and I was staying.
The hair made it bigger.
Yeah, the hair. Yeah, I was about 6 foot tall when is it now? But when it was but Tommy had a real big issue. He just couldn't stand people taking the mick out of him.
Yeah.
But one of my favourite scenes as well is where he and Henry.
Yeah.
He talks about this moment where he's having a fight, and then all of a sudden Henry's like, he's just bursting out laughing. He's, "Oh man, you're a funny guy."
Oh yeah, that's one of the most famous scenes of the whole movie.
Exactly. Like,
so go on, explain it. I want to hear this.
Like, what do you mean I'm funny? He's like, what? And everybody just quietens down. He's like, what? It's just you're a funny guy, man. It's a great story.
No. You said I'm funny. What is funny about me? What the F is funny about me? Tell me. It's like another good funny thing about Tommy DeVito's character, or Joe Pesci's characters. He can't say a single sentence without using 2-3 swear words in there.
That's what. Yeah, he never drops the ball with that, doesn't he? But when it's just the fact that everybody's always treading on eggshells. Yeah. It's like Spider in it. Spider.
Yeah.
Where he goes, "You can dance, can't you?" He's like, "You can dance."
Oh yeah, Spider.
Like,
that
you
guy.
Can dance. It's like
that actor actually went on to play an important character in The Sopranos, Christopher Moltisanti.
Well,
do you remember The Sopranos TV series?
I watched a few episodes.
Yeah, we have to review that one eventually, because this is kind of connecting with that.
It's brilliant.
It was one of the best shows ever made, and he actually went on to play Tony Soprano's nephew in the TV series. Christopher Moltisanti, funny guy. He's kind of similar to Joe Pesci's character in that, just snaps for no reason sometimes.
He definitely had a lot of issues.
Definitely.
And, but when
Spider, when he tells him to go F himself,
you're in trouble. Yeah, go F yourself, man. And Jimmy's like this. Jimmy's like
laughing.
I was like, oh man, you're gonna let this guy say that.
And he goes, Spider, here, that's for you. The money that goes here.
But you can see that Tommy's reaction like this. He's like, he hates it. He hates everybody. He's laughing at him. He hates being laughed at. He hates being looked at as a joke.
Yeah,
because he probably had that in his childhood,
He probably had a traumatic childhood. You never know, because maybe that's why he acts out of so much rage of the fact that he probably took a lot of beatings growing up. He took a lot of abuse, but
it would have back. Somebody goes, go get your
shine box.
He said, this kid, hey man, I haven't seen you for years. Used to there. This guy cleaned shoes amazingly. Man.
Made them look like mirrors.
Made them look like mirrors. My shoes every time were so good. I mean, hey, so how are you doing nowadays? And he's like, I don't want to hear that shit, man. I don't want to hear that. I'm not shining shoes anymore, Bill. I mean, I'm a lot better now. I'm not better. And he's like that. He goes, hey, I was only messing with you, man. I was only busting your balls. He's like, yeah, you bust my balls too many times.
And then he bust his face open.
Yeah.
And then
go get your shoes.
It's
like, you what?
It was insane. It was truly insane, that scene. And okay, moving on to one more character was Paulie Cicero, played by Paul Savino. The really big dude who actually meets Henry the first time.
That is a really, really good
I love that character.
He's so important.
I love the fact that he loves looking out for Henry's well-being when he's saying to him, stop putting that stuff up your nose. You're destroying your family's life. You're destroying your kids. They need you, and they're not going to need you if you're stuck behind bars.
Stop cheating
on your wife.
Be responsible. Be a man. Go back to your house. Make amends and be a normal family.
Now that you mentioned it, that was a great important factor that you just pointed out. Thank you for that. You got the biotic reaction.
You're welcome.
Yes, biotic reaction. And what happened was there was that scene where he's in the apartment of his mistress Henry, and Jimmy and Paulie turn up to talk to him. They said, "Listen, we want to talk to you in private. Listen, she's very upset. Karen, your wife.
Yeah, she keeps coming around the house.
She keeps coming around the house. She's crying. She's in a lot of pain. Your daughters don't know what to do without you. You need to seriously clean up your act and go home." They both say, don't it? You got to go home. You got to go home. You got to go home. And he goes, "But for now, I'll go home and talk to Karen. Jimmy's going to Florida with Tommy for a couple of days. You're going to go instead. Go get some fun in the sun. Relax a bit. And when you go home, when you come back, you go straight home to Karen. Everything will be fine. I will talk to her."
Just like the way it was before.
Yeah, even that scene where they're in prison together. It's kind of funny how the mobsters are living in prison. They're living in prison like they're living in their own house, which is quite funny.
Look at the food they're eating.
Yeah.
Look at the food they're eating. It's like
a proper meal, and even the guards are in on it as well. "Vinny, here's your lobsters," and everything. And that was a great scene. But the thing I liked about Paulie was he kind of became like the father figure to Henry. He was guiding him through that world.
He was.
But even at the end where he says, "I've blown all my money, I have no money," he goes, "Oh, I have this. After this, I'm done with you. I can't keep bailing you out, this, that, and the other." And he goes, "I helped you support you and your wife. I looked after her while you were locked up. They had this, we had that, we had this, and we had that. But I can't keep doing this anymore." But at the end, fortunate thing was Henry had to give them both up. He had no choice.
He had to give his whole family up, whole crime family up. And then, of course, when you realise, I mean, the ending was brilliant.
Oh yeah, it was.
The ending was brilliant. The ending suited it. Because obviously the guy was at a crossroads now. What's he going to do?
He had a regular day. He needed to get a regular day job.
He turned into the one thing he didn't want to turn into.
A bomb. Oh, he said.
Yeah,
the dad would say, innit?
He was following the rat race. Yeah. He was, traveling to work. He was paying bills. He was paying everything to live under the roof. He just. That's everything that he didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So exactly. It came full circle. Where everything he didn't want to do, he became in the end. And again, he said that in the narration in the beginning of the film when he was turning into the gangster.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be his dad. He didn't want to pay bills. He didn't want to, do everything by the book, being a conservative life. But what happens in the end?
Yeah, he has no choice but to go down that route.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to hunt him down and they're going to...
And he's under the FBI's protection now.
Yeah, he is. He's got no choice. Organised crime. That's what he does. And so moving on, one last character, and then we'll go into behind the scenes. Karen. She played an important factor in this movie. Because the one thing I liked about Karen, the narration with Henry's narration.
That was good.
Because I didn't realise it. When I watched this movie for the very first time, I didn't realise there was going to be a a narration from her, narration from Karen.
Yeah.
And when she's saying, "Oh Lord, he was like this," I couldn't stand the sight of him. But then when she kind of falls in love, that scene where he's properly charming to her, when he stands her up at the restaurant, she comes in and sort of says, "Hey, I thought it was next week. I'm upset. I thought you were going to stand me up," and everything. And he's like, she had the eyes of Liz Hurley, she had the body of this actress and all that stuff. And then she's like, then he quickly turns the charm around on her. She goes, "I'll think about it." He goes, "What's there to think about? Yes or no? I'll think about it." And she
keeps grabbing her by the arm, doesn't
he? But you can tell she loved him from the... I think what showed more love out of her for him was the scene where he beats that guy up quite badly, Bruce across. I mean, again, a great scene. I love the look on Leota's face, Henry's face, when he walks on. He's firing up all that rage.
I love the sound of the shoes when he's walking across the road.
Something's about to happen.
Those fancy shoes that he's gone on.
That suit looked cool.
Yeah.
That whole outfit looked absolutely
If you see a guy like that walking up your driveway, just walking up to you with that face, with that suit,
something's about to happen.
You're like, oh, okay, this guy. I'm gonna go in the house. Get your ass back here. No, I'm fine, man. I'm locking myself in that house. I'm not coming out. Yeah, I don't.
Then he just hits that guy so much.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
The two friends just stood there in shock because they've never seen anything like that before. They don't know how to react to something. Yeah, but he had a gun on him.
And you just don't react. Yeah. Just leave him alone.
and then she falls in love. They get married, but then she wants him to sort himself out. She doesn't want to go to jail. She doesn't want him to go to jail. She goes to pay a visit to him in jail. She's bringing him food and everything.
Well, she don't know what he does. He goes, what do you do? I'm in construction.
Yeah.
I go, you don't seem like you're in construction.
Yeah, the hands.
Yeah,
kind of gave it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he hands her a gun to hide. It's like the first time I saw that gun. A lot of people would have gone, no, don't want anything to do with this guy. But for me, it kind of turned me on. That's what she says in the narration.
And then like I said, Lorraine Bracco, who played her, she went on to play Dr. Jennifer Melfi in The Sopranos. In that, she's actually Tony Soprano's psychiatrist.
Yeah, she is, isn't she?
She is. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And I was like, and she was such a beautiful lady in that movie.
She is. She's got that kind of.
And then she also did a great movie with Michael Keaton called what was it called again? Dream Team. And that Michael Keaton's kind of like he's a mental patient. It's kind of a good comic movie. I love not because he's Batman and Beetlejuice, but
Beetlejuice 2.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know, maybe
that's coming out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he got my reaction.
Guess he's going to be in it.
Michael Keaton
and Mr. Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Mr. Johnny Depp's in Beetlejuice 2.
Hey Johnny.
It's going to be a few years. It's going to be out. There you go.
We'll be in the cinema to watch it.
Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice again.
And you have Edward Scissorhands and a Beetlejuice in one movie.
That's not a good duo. It'd be good if it was actually Edward Scissorhands. No, actually, no.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot.
That's a good film, though.
Okay, we'll review it.
Okay.
Right. And like, so yeah, she went on to do a movie with him called The Dream Team. She's his girlfriend in that. And it's kind of like the same thing. He's a bit of a psycho in that, and these guys are being abusive to her, and he beats the crap out of them both. And that's it. He just finds any excuse to lose his temper, which is a great character. Michael Keaton's a terrific actor. Not, like I said, not just.
Have you seen Birdman?
No, but I've heard a lot of great stuff about it.
It's a weird film, but it's good. He's so eccentric in that. Watch it. Okay, I'm not going to say anything about it. Just
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word. And also The Founder. I heard that's a great movie.
Okay, I'll watch that.
All right. So moving on to behind the scenes now. This is one of my favourite subjects of all this.
Can I say another thing?
Go.
Obviously, with Tommy, Joe Pesci plays that. I think everybody knows a world famous film that Joe Pesci was in.
Home Alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, I just can't get my head around the scenes. How painful those scenes were.
The traps.
Yeah, it was just the traps where you know, with that nail goes through his hand.
Ooh, no, the foot. It was his foot.
Yeah, his foot is like.
What's it? Pesci's character burns his hand on the doorknob, which is kind of funny.
When he falls down the stairs, and then he burns his head.
That was in part 2.
Yeah. Oh
no, was it part 1 or part 2? No, I think it was. What part was it? I think it could have been a bit of both.
Yeah, it's just everything. Because obviously,
I haven't seen that movie
in the second one, he was in Lost in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many painful traps that he lays in New York.
Even
as
better.
Well. Yes, because obviously it's out in in public.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
He just falls down the subway. Oh, yeah. But you know, if I watch that again, I feel sick watching those. I
couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, I couldn't stop laughing. But when I was watching it, it hurt me because I was just like, oh my, that hurt.
Yeah, it does. It's like one of the movies when you look at something and you go, that hurts me just looking at it. It's one of those ones. All right. Now, moving into the behind the scene, hats off to that one.
Joe Pesci.
He's a legend. I love Joe Pesci.
Well, we're going to be doing one of his films, aren't we?
My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Definitely. Yeah. That's one of the best movies he's ever done. Okay, so moving on to the behind the scenes talk. Now, according to the real life Henry Hill, who's this movie was based on, he says Joe Pesci's portrayal of Tommy DeVito was actually his real name was actually Tommy DeSimone.
Okay.
But he said it was between 90 to 90% accurate, except one noticeable expectation. The real Tommy was massively built. It was built like a brick house. And also, this is another great bit, and I'm definitely getting the reaction out of this one. Now, you know, everybody knows Robert De Niro is famous for playing, famous for his method acting. He was especially
talking to me.
You talking to me?
You talking to me?
I'm the only one here, Eden.
So you must be talking to me?
Yeah, you must be talking to me. All right, and so I used to have to do that. Your Taxi Driver's a great movie. Come on,
fantastic film.
Yeah. So Robert De Niro, obviously, he's known for his method acting and everything like that, where he forgets who he is and he takes on the characters. You know, he lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, drinks this character until the film's done.
He's an actor.
He's the definition of acting. Him and Al Pacino. Yeah, so Robert De Niro, in that scene where you meet him for the very first...
Sorry.
Go for it. Finish it off.
Say hello to my little friend.
Scarface. Classic. Right. You know the scene where De Niro, you know where Jimmy Conway comes in and he uses, and he's handing the money out to people in the opening scene. Robert De Niro really wanted to use real money for the scene because he didn't like the way the fake money felt in his hand. So the prop master gave De Niro $5,000 out of his own pocket to give him to use it for the scene, and at the end of each take, no one was allowed to leave the set until all the money was counted back and returned to the prop master. That's the best. That's the best.
He didn't trust him.
No, but then again, it's somebody else's money.
Yeah.
So he said the same.
Can you give my money back, please? Hey, there's 100 missing. Where's it gone?
Oh, okay, I got it.
Oh, guys.
Yeah.
No one's leaving. Where's that $100 gone?
Yeah. And also, here's another good thing. When they did the real-life documentary called The Real Goodfella, Henry Hill claimed that Robert De Niro, the real Henry Hill, not the character, he claimed that Robert De Niro would phone him 7 to 8 times a day to discuss certain things about Jimmy's character, such ways how Jimmy would hold his cigarette. He wanted that accurate, how to hold a cigarette.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great acting.
That's
fantastic research, observational skills. I mean, because if you look at it, right, if you look at actors and actresses out throughout time,
yeah.
If you look at the method actors, the ones that just pull you in and then they just absolutely let everything go of themselves, it's an academic
trade.
It's an academic trade. It's academic learning because not only it's about psychology.
It is.
It's all psychology, and it's all if you can let go of yourself.
Yeah. And
become somebody else.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's just to do that.
I heard one of the best schools in the world to learn that is in New York City called the Lee Strasberg Academy of Acting. I think that's the name, but I know Lee Strasberg.
Didn't Leonardo DiCaprio grow up in New York?
I'm not sure. I
think so. Because no, that's the guy that had a rough childhood. You heard about his dad, right?
No, but like I said, we've all mentioned that.
Yeah, he was. But he, you know, you can tell. I mean, to ring somebody up and go, "How did you hold your cigarette? How do you do this?" It shows you how much he cared about his job.
He did. And it's like, even the scene, even when he did the movie Raging Bull, did you know the first half of the beginning of the movie, he maintained his fitness non-stop. He would park his car halfway to his house and jog home the rest of the way just to maintain his physique. And when they had to when the other scene where Jake LaMotta's gotten bigger and bigger throughout the movie because of his animalistic appetite, he ate too much. They said they had to shut production down for about 3 months, make De Niro gain all that weight, and then reopen the production again.
Wow. That's...
to be honest, when I watched that film for the very first time, I honestly thought it was another actor playing the fatter LaMotta. Years later, I found out in media school, in film school, that it was De Niro doing both roles. I said, no. He goes, yeah. My lecturer actually said that. He goes, I said, no, that's not Robert De Niro, the other actor. He goes, no, it's Robert De Niro. I said, no, that guy's fat. Robert De Niro's in good shape. They had to shut production down, they can gain all the weight and then reopen the production back up. So you got a reality reaction out of him again.
Wow.
That's about 3 for me right now. 3. So
yeah.
Chopped up on the wall.
So,
and okay, well, go on. Yeah, let me give one more, then you go for it. Yeah, go. You go first. Go on.
Did you know Al Pacino was offered the role of Jimmy Conway?
Yeah.
You knew that?
In a way.
Oh.
Okay, no.
Oh, come on.
So go on, give me another one. See if I can get it.
That's all right. That's guttering. That you really knew that?
No, but you should have seen that look on your face. It was priceless. I'm a funny guy.
Sad boy.
Go on.
Sad boy.
Okay. Go on. Give me another one.
Right. Okay. So, according to Ray Liotta, Martin Scorsese was involved in every detail of the cat's wardrobe that he tied Liotta's tie himself.
Yeah. To
make sure it was accurate for the film's setting. He tied Liotta's. Wow. That's.
You serious?
Yep. I'm serious. Okay. Painting that Joe Pesci's mother.
Yeah.
The painting that Joe Pesci's character's mother brings out was actually painted by wise guy author Nicholas Pileggi's mother. Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, that's not bad, is it?
No, that's not bad. It's not.
That's not bad. That's a good painting, though.
It was a beautiful painting. One dog, as Tommy would describe, I like this painting. One dog goes one way, one dog goes the other way. Hey, he looks like somebody we know. Oh, it's him.
It actually is.
It's him.
It's him. No, it's actually
the guy in the blue car.
Him. And they all just burst out laughing. Like, whoa! The only person that isn't laughing is Henry.
Yeah. Did you know even that scene? You know where Jimmy Conway, De Niro's character, is putting the ketchup on the food? Apparently, he found out again how to put ketchup on food. He just saw it like that, and he's like this. He's eating the food, he goes, delicious, like that. Here's another one for you. When Joe Pesci's mother saw the movie, she goes, the movie was so good, but asked him, why did he have to curse so much? It's true that I said, isn't it, that there isn't a... Did you know the F word was actually used 321 times, on an average of 2.40 per minute? Joe Pesci says about half of it.
Why am I not surprised? Okay, one more.
Go for it.
All right. Ray Liotta turned down the part of Harvey Dent in Batman 1989 in order to make this movie. Good choice.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I think in a way he would have made a great Harvey Dent.
Yes.
But I would have loved to see that
transition. He would have been the star.
Yeah,
he was the main player in this film.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
This was about Henry. He could not. If he would have played Harvey and not Henry.
Yes.
He would have been Ray. He wouldn't have been Ray Liotta.
No,
he wouldn't have made it into the high grounds that he did.
He made the right decision. Yeah. He made the right decision.
His agent probably made the right choice for him. But
I don't know,
if you think about it, right? If you think about it, there's no decision there.
No.
There's no decision.
Okay. Well, right. In a way, I wouldn't. I'm not dissing Michael Keaton.
Yeah. And Tim Burton's a brilliant director.
Oh, he's fantastic. I love Tim Burton's work.
You're gonna go.
Look how many movies.
You're gonna go with Scorsese.
Yeah, I think look how many movies. What's his name? Michael Keaton and Tim Burton have done together. They've done Batman 1 and 2, and they did. I think he did Beetlejuice.
They did Beetlejuice. Come on, I mean, look at that. That's definitely Tim Burton film.
Yeah, it was definitely. I totally agree with that. And
that's a definite Tim Burton film.
Definitely.
Oh wow, yeah.
And also, did you know the scene where? The dinner where they're at Tommy's mother's house was almost completely improvised, including when Tommy asked the mother, "I need to borrow this knife," and Jimmy's huff comment. That was all. That kind of looked like when he goes, which reminds me, Ma, I need to borrow this knife. I need to borrow this knife. I'll bring it back, okay? He goes, oh, we hit the day, and the poor thing, he had his foot, what do you call it again? Caught in the grill. I gotta hack it off. It's some sin, Ma. Come on.
You need to cut the hoof right off.
How he delivers that line is perfect. So cool, so calm. And he's like this. He's eating the food, and Jimmy's like this. The Hoff.
Yeah. yeah. And Henry's like, I'm trying to eat here.
And then he's quiet. He goes, Henry, what's wrong? I'm listening.
I like sometimes.
You should talk a little more, you know. You're going to ask me to do an impression again, aren't you?
Go on.
Alright, what movie of De Niro's do you want me to do an impression of? I've got the Heat one in mind.
Do Heat.
Alright, yeah. Has anyone ever seen? For those who have seen the movie Heat, it's the scene where Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are in the coffee shop. To me, it's the best scene ever made in a movie because you have these two great titans of actors in one movie. You've seen that?
You've got Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in one movie together.
In
those days, those two were the biggest.
Of course,
they were huge. I mean, in gangster films,
yeah,
you just can't get any bigger than them.
Yeah. Okay. So is that okay? I'll save.
And they both starred in Godfather together.
Yeah, they did. I'll save Heat for another day. I'll do that impression. So
Taxi Driver.
No, that one's too easy.
Okay.
All right. So one movie that he does in here, one scene he does in here when he goes to the truck driver, when he takes off the ID and he goes to him. You may know who we are, but we know who you are. So we know where you live and everything, okay? He puts the money in his pocket and hands it to him. And then the other scene when he goes to Spider, when he goes, Spider, good for you. Don't take nothing off nobody. That's for you. Hey, Tommy, you gonna let him get away with that? You gonna let him get away with it? What's the world coming to? Bang, 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 out of the way.
Yeah. And then he's like...
That's what the world's coming to.
Yeah. And when he shoots him, right, he's like, what the F you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm not going to let him tell it. I said, you don't, what the hell, man? Tommy, you've lost it, man.
Yeah.
And Henry just he bends down on it and goes,
he's dead.
He's dead. And he's like, man, hey, Tommy, here we go. Well done, Tommy.
Yeah, he does, man. You're going to dig the hole. You're going to go dig the hole.
Okay, I'll dig the hole. And he
goes, where are the shovels? Yeah. That's all he says, where are the shovels?
He just gets up and grabs the body and moves it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
And did you know who played Tommy's mother in the movie? You won't believe this. It was Martin Scorsese's mum in real life who played him.
Wow.
Yes, that's the best reaction I've ever had.
Yeah, you got me on that one. God.
Yeah, and okay, I've got one more for you.
Okay.
Then I want to talk about the 25th anniversary edition as well. The anniversary, it's the DVD review. That's fair enough. Okay, did you know when the scene where Paulie confronts Henry after Henry's been released from prison? Paul Sorvino actually improvised the slap on Ray Liotta's face, hence why Liotta's reaction was so genuine. I got the best reaction. Out of all the podcasts I've done with this guy here, today's been definitely the one that I've had the best reaction.
That slap was actually...
Definitely it was.
Wow. I can see why it was so like, what was that for?
Okay, here's another one for you. Martin Scorsese reportedly didn't want Ray Liotta to have any contact with the real Henry Hill before filming because he'd never directed Liotta before and didn't want Hill to influence Liotta.
Fair enough. I mean,
made the job easy.
Yeah, I mean, actors like to get in touch with the actual people that they're playing. So
that's the whole point.
Yeah,
it's like for example, talking hypothetically, if I had the choice of playing Stallone one day, I would like to get in touch with them. So it's like, how did you struggle? How did you sleep on the streets before you hit it big with Rocky?
Yeah,
And what did you do? How did you go by?
You want to ask him all the questions.
Of course you do. It's
like,
Stallone.
What do you do when you're in this situation? How do you stand when you're in this situation?
How did you dress?
What is the one word that you always say?
Yeah.
Or how do you confront somebody to make a conversation with them? It's just, and what face do you pull when you're not happy?
Yeah.
Or how do you stand when somebody knows that you're not happy? Do you have a twitch? It's just...
Yeah, exactly. You want to know everything and everything else about this guy. Okay, moving on to when they hit the 25th anniversary edition. This is going to make you laugh, Aidan. You had Ray Liotta, Lorraine Bracco, Robert De Niro. You had Paul Savino all together. Joe Pesci unfortunately couldn't make it.
Can I say...
Go on then. I want to hear this.
Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah.
And, no.
Karen, yeah.
Yeah, Karen. 2 real-life daughters played Judy Hill at different ages.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, you got my reaction.
So you got Stella, played her at age 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Don't know how you pronounce this.
Yeah.
Margaux.
Margot, yeah.
Margot played 10-year-old.
Or Marguerite, yeah.
She played 10-year-old Judy.
Yeah.
So Stella played the 4-year-old and Margot played the 10-year-old. So those were her actual daughters. Just like Martin's mum. It's a real family. There you go.
He's a great guy. Martin Scorsese. I'd love to work with him one day.
Margot Scorsese is a big fan of the Copacabana. He actually went there on his prom night. Yeah.
Okay, now he's getting all my reactions. I think we're neck and neck. No, I think
no,
Aiden's won this round.
No, you actually won it. It's 5-3, I think.
Yeah.
It's not a competition. It's not a competition.
We're competitive. No, all right. So, okay, so one more thing. Okay, so moving on to the 25th anniversary edition, and I've got something funny about Joe Pesci's Oscar. Did you know Joe Pesci won Best Supporting Actor for this role? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, now I've won. Yeah, he won Best Supporting Actor for that role of Tommy DeVito.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. It'd be a crime if they hadn't done it.
Yeah. And speaking about Joe Pesci, Oscar win. Did you know his acceptance speech is the 6th shortest in America's history? It's my privilege. Thank you. That's it. Bang. Done. See you later.
Did you know why he didn't say much? His exact words were, they asked him, why didn't you say more when you won the Oscars? To be honest, I didn't think I was going to win. Yeah, so we kind of finished off that bit. So moving on to the 25th anniversary edition, when they got together and they spoke to everybody, what was it like working on this movie? How did you prepare for it? This, that, and the other. Joe Pesci unfortunately couldn't make it. And I watched this, one of the last few interviews of Ray Liotta before he passed away he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. And Jimmy Kimmel's a great, great host. One of the best I've ever seen.
He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy.
What do you mean he's funny? Funny how? How funny?
How funny? What do you mean yourself? What do you mean funny? You're just a funny guy.
No. You said I'm funny. What the flip is so funny about me? Tell me. I almost had him.
I don't know, man. You're a funny guy. I love that scene.
I love that scene as well. So when it came to, so like I said, it was Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Lorraine Bracco, Paul Savino, Martin Scorsese and Joe Pesci couldn't make it. And then they asked him, when Jimmy Kimmel asked him, what was it like seeing everybody after so long? He said, it was great. Pesci couldn't make it, but he sent a letter. It was old school. He said, so what is Bob opened it up, Bob De Niro opened it up, and the letter all just read was, sorry, I couldn't effing be there. I was effing busy doing this and effing that, F. The whole letter just stood with swear words in there. And then he goes, he really wrote that. Kimmel goes, he really wrote that? He goes, yeah, he's a funny guy. The whole audience burst out laughing. the whole audience burst out laughing hysterically, kind of like how I wish there was a camera angle they could have turned on the audience on there to see what they're like.
That's brilliant.
It just goes. And another good thing is, so how did you kind of prepare for it? Is when I got casted in the role, I had a police officer, a former police officer whose family was in the mob, but he eventually went down the mob route, and he told me tips about this and do that and do this and that. He goes, All of a sudden we went out to dinner one night. I couldn't find my wallet. I didn't realize he took my wallet and threw it on the floor, and we found it on the way out of the restaurant. And he did that, and he goes, I had guys coming towards me. He goes, one guy goes, I knew a guy who did this, and I knew another guy who did this. I knew this guy, and this guy, and that guy. He goes, realistically, I knew they were all talking about themselves. Those were Ray Liotta's exact words and everything like that. But it would have been great to see Joe Pesci and Martin Scorsese on that scene. But like I say, this is without a doubt one of the best movies we've ever reviewed.
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of the greatest flicks ever made. Great acting, great cast, great director, great storylines, great one-liners. Now moving on to, let's do favourite scenes. We've got to do at least 2 each. So you go first.
Okay.
And favourite quotes. We've got to do one favourite quote each. So you go first.
Well, I mean, I thought
yeah, we've kind of done it. But
it's. Look, I've already said one of my favourites. I mean, it's the "Do you think I'm funny?" scene.
Yes, one of the most famous scenes ever.
Yeah. What do you mean I'm funny? It's just. What do you mean I'm funny?
Yeah, I think the scaredness of Liotta looked genuine.
Yeah,
the terror in his face looked genuine.
But Tommy, you know, he wasn't a big guy, but he was just so.
He had
like the rage,
he was very ferocious and savage. Yeah. He was very savage, I would say.
He was, oh man.
Like you said, the best thing you said before we came on was he was like a rabid dog.
Yes. He was just, you know, when that scene was happening,
yeah.
I felt scared for Henry. Because
what's going to happen?
Everybody was looking, because Henry's not that kind of guy. He's not. But this guy, Tommy, definitely parallel, massive differences. If those two was to have a fight, I think I have a feeling he would win.
Maybe Tommy,
he would not give up. He would just keep going and going and going. And again, I've never felt so scared for a character in my old time watching films. I was like, this guy is gonna hit him in a minute, but he didn't. He was like, well, he messed with me, like,
yeah.
Oh God, it's like my heart was going.
He goes, I almost had him. All right. One of my favourite scenes was the prison scene where they're all having dinner. I don't know what it is. It's just such a funny. It's just a great scene where I still remember some of the dialogue from this movie when the narration of Henry is. In prison, dinner was always such a big thing. We had a pasta course, then we had a meat or a fish. Paulie would be in charge of the sauce, and he had a wonderful system for slicing the garlic. He'd use a razor blade, and he would cut so thin. And then they're telling him, "Oh, Vinny, don't put too many onions in the sauce." And he's like, when the guards come in and bring the lobster, that was just absolutely amazing. The lobster was like, "Vinny, here's your lobster." Oh, thanks. And then Henry's narration goes, we didn't live like these guys. We practically owned the joint. Yeah. And he goes, all right, what did you bring?
Like kings, that's what he said.
They lived like kings. Think about it. They had a few bars on the prison, but they had proper beds. They didn't wear prison uniforms. Yeah. Henry walking in with an Adidas outfit, which is quite funny. Paulie sitting there with a bathrobe, again, quite funny. Another funny scene was, another good thing about that scene was they brought the bag of food. What'd you bring? Bread. I brought salami, cheeses, onions, peppers, everything.
Talk about that guard as well. That guard's giving me a hard time.
Oh, I took care of him.
Yeah, so no, he says, no,
I took care of him. Took care of him. And yeah, that was a great scene.
Something needs to be done about that guard. I've already took it.
Yeah, took care about it. And one last one of my favourite scenes was, I would say that scene of Billy Bats. Go home and get your shine box.
Yeah.
Did you know in real life, even ever since, Frank Vincent, who played Billy Bats, unfortunately he passed away, they said that even in real life before he died, a lot of people come to him and say to him, could you please say that line from Goodfellas? Because what line? The go home and get your shine box. Because go and get your... No, say it like he said it in the movie. Go home and get your shine box. I think in real life, he was a great actor. He actually appeared in the movie Casino with Pesci. But in that, they're kind of allies.
Yeah.
And it was a great movie. Like I said, this was without a doubt one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
And
it's I think I've got one.
Go for it.
Well, it's so another favourite scene of mine. It has to be. Wow. Okay, give me a second.
That's all right.
I did have one in mind.
All right. A clicking scene?
No. I'm just trying to think. Okay.
Was it when you find out Tommy got whacked?
No, not that one. Not that one. That was one, but it wasn't second. You know what? You know what I'm gonna go with? I am gonna go with where he gets a battering by his dad.
Yeah.
And when he says, "In life, you always take a beating."
Yeah.
It's just a very honest scene.
It was
obviously you're not showing. Obviously, you're not just showing it, but you're using it as a metaphor for life.
Yeah, you are.
And it is true. In life, whether it's externally or internally, you're gonna take a battering.
Of course you are.
Your own, you can be your own worst enemy,
or you be your own best friend,
or your own best friend. But you're both at the same time. Because when you do something wrong, you've got to learn not to beat yourself up.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're only a human being, but sometimes we have to learn that we're still humans.
Of course you do.
So we make mistakes, but we can't help but get angry at ourselves for making mistakes. But then we have to realise, no. I'm only a human being. I'm still learning. It's fine. If I wasn't human, I won't make mistakes, but I am a human.
Yeah.
So that's what he's basically saying.
I totally agree with that.
So that's a really good scene. There's so many scenes out of my favourite.
We could be here forever.
There's just too many scenes going off in my head, but yeah. But another favourite scene as well.
Go.
So when Karen is talking to Jimmy.
Yeah.
She goes to ask for help from Jimmy, and Jimmy says to her, "I've got you a little something. It's in that shop over there." So what shop? Just over there.
Oh yeah.
Just
she knew something was off.
Just over there, and she goes over to that shop, and she's like this, because my heart was going for it. I was just thinking, no, don't go in that shop. Don't go in that shop. And then she looks in the shop. You see those two guys in there.
Yeah.
And you think, whoa, you better get out of there. And then she gets in the car and she just skids off. Yeah. And you see Jimmy looking at her as if to say, "Damn,
he was gonna kill her.
He was gonna whack her." And when she gets home, obviously
Henry's taking the gloves off.
Yeah, Henry's like, wow, this can't happen. This
is my wife, mother of my children. Exactly. I can't do this.
But he did say that though, didn't he? Jimmy's he don't trust anybody anymore. It's not like he used to be. No. He's nervous. He was getting people backed right, left and centre.
Oh, yeah, that scene, there was like, how many killings were in that one scene where all the other mobsters were being killed? It was kind of insane, that one. Yeah. So, okay, moving on to the score now. What would you give Goodfellas a score out of 10? Score out of 10?
Oh, gosh, it's got to be an 8.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
This is actually the highest movie I've ever given. Like I say, it's one of my favourite movies of all time. Like I said, great actors, great story, great director, great overall. It was the whole package in one.
Yeah, it's a complete package. That film, it's very rare you get films like that. Every character was played by a suitable actor.
Yeah.
Every situation, bits of storyline, everything was just perfect. It was just close to being perfect.
Again, it was.
You hardly get when you watch a film, right? When you watch a film and you see a character and you go, "Why is he playing that for? He doesn't suit that role."
It's true.
He doesn't suit. She don't suit that role.
No.
That's
yeah. It does.
In this, everybody suits the role they're playing. And that's what was so beautiful about the film. Every single thing about that film was just brilliant. And hats off to everybody that did it. And again, respects and love goes to Ray Liotta and his family and his friends, everybody that was close to him. Thank you for being you, Mr. Liotta, and thank you for making the decision for being in the film industry. Being
Henry Hill.
Yes.
As far as back as we can remember, we always wanted to be Ray Liotta fans. Yeah. No, we were, because I say, he was a great actor, and he left a great legacy behind.
Tommy Vercetti.
DeVito. Oh yeah, Tommy, you're talking about the
Miami Vice. Thank you.
Not Miami, Vice City. Then again, there was an actor from Miami Vice who did Lance Vance, which was Phil Michael Thomas.
So right, great game. Thank you, Ray, for playing Tommy Vercetti. I was 14 years old when that came out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, again, thank you for everything. Legend,
definitely.
May you rest in peace. Definitely. I was going to do it in the Undertaker voice then, but
no, don't do that. Well, that's all the time we have for today's podcast. Aidan, again, as I always say, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. Fantastic. And we're definitely going to, like I said, this is a tribute video to Ray Liotta. Don't forget to follow us on all social media. And if you made it to the end of the podcast, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click like, and
click
also
the notifications.
Click notification, turn on this.
Without that, you won't know we've released a new video. Yeah,
definitely. And definitely, we're going to be back next week. We're concluding with the part of Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. It's part 3. It's part 3. So
hey, it's a good day.
I knew he was going to say that. And yes,
see that
definitely. And so, and then hopefully afterwards,
I am the law.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully afterwards, we're going to be starting a new saga. We're going to jump into a saga now, not a trilogy. And we're not going to be too old for this. Put it that way. That's all the hint I'm going to say. That's all the hint I'm going to say. So again, thank you to everybody for making the end. And like I said, this has been one of the best podcast episodes ever. And. Like I say, thank you again for all your support and everything. We'll see you in the next podcast. And don't always forget, the AAT'S rocked.
They do rock.
Yeah.
What this guy said.
What this guy agreed with.
We did it that time.
This is Addy.
And Aidan.
Out.